Hello, my lovely friends, it's Margaret, and I am here to nerd out about books. I thought it would be kind of nice for me to go over a little bit of my rating system because I think I rate things a little bit differently than a lot of people do. I think a lot of people rate books on like technical skill, how well the story was executed, on character and dialogue and plot. And that's all stuff that I take into account when I am reading a book. Really for me, like what determines a rating for a book is how I feel at the end of the book. So I'm just gonna go through real quick how I figure out a book is 1 star or 5 star or anything in between. This does come with the disclaimer that if I mention one of your favorite books and it's not as high up in my rating system as you think, just please remember that it is a matter of personal taste. Things that I have gone through and things that you have gone through change and affect how we see the books ourselves, and so there are things that I might not have seen that might not have connected with me for that particular book. That being said, I will start out easy. So I'm going to start out with my 5-star ratings. Now these are the books that like I am absolutely gaga for. Like these are the books, there's just something like you close that book and your life is better and you just feel like a sense of completion when I guess I should say I just feel like a sense of completion deep down in my soul when I finish this book. These are the ones that like I am almost like fanatical about. I want to go knocking door to go and be like, hello, do you have time to talk about our Lord and hero, Percy Jackson? Basically, how I determine a 5-star book is, did it make me as happy as Percy Jackson made me? I'm not even kidding, like, the Percy Jackson series and the Heroes of Olympus series, just like every single one of them I think is rated 5 stars at this point for me. I think the ratings went up after I'd finished the series and read them again because I knew all of the stuff that was going to happen and all the little nuances and the things to look for, and I just love this series so much, guys. These are the ones that like, they have my favorite endings, they have my favorite characters and my favorite worlds, and like I just want everyone to read them. Percy Jackson just has such a special place in my heart because at the time that I read Percy Jackson, I had been doing a lot of reading for school and for some reason decided I was into Victorian literature, so I've been reading a lot of Dickens and like Thomas Hardy. I read 2 Thomas Hardy books and that's 2 books too many. So I picked up the Percy Jackson series my second to last semester in college, and it just was life-changing, basically. Like, oh my gosh. I was like, oh, that's right, reading is fun. I like this thing called reading. Which is part of why I signed up for all those Victorian literature classes, because I like the thing called reading. I don't have it on me because my best friend is reading it, but like 6 of Crows. Oh, I do have Crooked Kingdom. All was right with the world when I finished this book. I've converted a couple of people, or at least gotten them to read the first book, because this was so good. I do have a review coming for this at some point. I love all of these characters and I love this world, and this story was so perfect. Usually they are happy books with a nice ending that wraps things up real well. Occasionally you will have a book like, you will have a book like A Wounded Name, which is one of the only versions of Hamlet that I actually like, because even though it's tragic, it is so beautiful and poetic, and I love the author with all of my heart. Basically, 5-star books are the books that I absolutely love, and like if I had to choose books to go on a desert island with me, those are the ones that I would be choosing from. Scorpio Races is another 5-star book for me. It just, it was 4 stars. And then that ending, just, that ending. If you know that last chapter, if you have read the Scorpio Races, you know that last chapter, it just like makes the book. Like the entire book has been building to this moment and you're just like, oh my gosh, it's actually happening. Okay, I'm gonna. Anyway, 5-star and 4-star books are the ones I'm probably going to talk about on this channel the most because I don't like to bash books all that much. There will be a little bit of book bashing at the end of this video because I'm still bitter. I am still very bitter. Okay, 4-star books are the ones I loved. They just didn't have that extra that they needed to get them to that 5-star tier. Just missing that crucial element that makes my soul go, that was a good book. These are the books that I really like. These are the books that I don't hesitate to recommend. Like, there are no disclaimers usually with these. I mean, there's occasionally, like, if there's something that I feel like someone needs to be, like, aware of happens in the book because it might trigger them, I do say, like, hey, there's this issue in the book. Like, A Wounded Name. I'm like, hey, and just so you know, there are these couple of things that if this is an issue for you, don't read this book. These are the books that, like, the world draws me in, and I love the characters, and I'm just, like, I enjoy them almost as much as you can enjoy. Like, I enjoy them almost to the max that you can enjoy a book. Like, my enjoyment is the thing, I guess. Maybe my enjoyment more than my emotion is the thing that really makes a book for me. So my 4-star books, I love them. They are my children. They are the best. I'm pretty sure the reason that this is 4 stars is because the romance in this book was not quite as overt as I would like. It's hard to differentiate between, like, I have a lot of the time I have to sit and I have to think about, okay, is this a 5-star book or a 4-star book? It's easier for me to pinpoint why something made 3 stars instead of making 4 stars. The Raven Boys was a 4-star book. She did such a good job with her world building. She did such a good job with her characters. It just didn't have that little it didn't quite get up to that 5-star tier. I think it's because it was a little slow at the beginning. This is one I don't think that, like, if rereading it, I don't think it would go up because, and that's primarily due to the fact that, like, I was not as happy as I could be with the ending of The Raven King. I felt that was a little bit abrupt. You'll find that all the ones that, like, they improve, it's because I have a new understanding of the characters due to the ending of the book, and, like, something about that just takes my emotions and I have no choice but to give it 5 stars because I'm so emotionally attached. So my 3-star books. 3 stars basically means I liked this book. These are books that I still would recommend. Like, 4 and 5 stars are an automatic, yes, I recommend, you should read it. 3 stars, I do still recommend my 3-star books. Like, I very rarely am like, oh no, this is a horrible book, you don't want to read it. Like, if it's a horrible book, you don't want to read it, it's probably gotten down to like 2 stars or 1 star. There are all different kinds of reasons why things might be a 3-star book. The 3rd book in the Chemical Gardens trilogy, Sever, I was not as impressed with this book as I was with the first 2 books. I can't remember what I rated the first 2 books, but they were pretty high up there. I was really into dystopians at the time, and I liked the concept, and then I felt like she just rushed through it in this one. I felt like this one didn't quite live up to the hype that the first 2 books it created. Looking back at it as an adult and not a 21-year-old or 22-year-old, I'm like, oh yeah, no, that was never gonna, that one thing was never gonna work out. Oh, thank goodness it didn't. But, like, I just felt like maybe there was a little too much romantic focus on a completely different character and not the one she ended up with. Then there's Batman, which I have also got a review on this one, and I go more in depth on why this was not my favorite of the DC Icons series. It almost was, but again, this one was specifically just because I was not a fan of the romance and I was not a fan of the ending. Again, I think a lot of the time what happens with 3-star books is it'll either be like there's something to do with the ending or it's a situation with, like, Otherworld. It was a good solid plot, like really good characters, but there just was something, like, it was kind of I guess lackluster. It didn't grab me the way that, say, like, the Raven Boys did. 2 completely different genres, but, like, that's what I'm saying. Like, I mean, I picked up A Darker Shade of Magic, and within, like, a chapter I was sucked in. It left such a lasting impression. And Otherworld kind of didn't. Like, it was good. I enjoyed it. I couldn't put it down. But, like, when I put it down, I was like, what was the main character's name again? What happened in this book? Like I'm interested in the next book, but at the same time, it's not like, oh, I'm gonna die if I don't get the next book, like with, say, The Cruel Prince. 2-star books. 2-star books I didn't like. That's just the way it goes. I don't own any of my 2 or my 1-star books because if I dislike them that much, they are out of my life. I'm gonna get rid of them. I think the only ones that I have that are like that rated that lowly that I just didn't like are the Bartimaeus trilogy, and that's just because I can't get rid of the dang things. Oh, the first 2 books were so good, and then the ending. But we're not here to talk about that. One example is Soldier. It's the 3rd book in the Talon series. I'm on the fence as to whether or not I actually want to continue this series because I was very, very sad with something that happened at the very end of this book. You know what? Just, if you haven't read this book and you're thinking about reading this series, just skip to later in this video when I am not holding the book up. I'll keep it up next to my face until I am done talking about it. The first 2 books, you are sold this fantastic romance between a human and a dragon. And, like, I loved Garrett. Like, his growth from being a soldier in the Order of St. George to going, I was wrong and I need to make up for this. I need to do something to fix this. That was so good. And I understand why what happened to him had to happen to him at the end of this book, but I was just so mad about it and unhappy. And, like, I couldn't rate it 1 star because there were definitely parts of this book that I genuinely enjoyed, and I still remembered those despite the fact that, like, he dies at the end of this book. I was not a happy camper with what happened to him at the end of this book. I feel like I would have been more okay with that if Riley hadn't been such an controlling, overprotective. Riley is too possessive for my tastes, for me to like Riley. If he was not as possessive as he is, I could be okay with him. I just felt like Garrett was a better fit. I liked Garrett better as a person. I felt like he was the better choice in guys. And then she did what she did, and I was not happy about it, but at the same time, I do like it didn't wipe away the parts of it that I enjoyed. There was a reunion in this book, and I am a reunion junkie. Like, you give me a reunion, I will be just so happy. Another one, and I don't have it with me because I don't own it, is The Gate Thief by Orson Scott Card. I think the first book is it's The Lost Gate, and then The Gate Thief. It's the second book in the Middle Ages trilogy. The first book was super interesting. I really liked it. I liked the characters. There were not enough female characters, but that's a typical thing. You try to seek out stuff that has more female characters, but, like, I don't get bothered by it. But then, like, the second book, at the very end, stuff happened, and I was just like, oh, this is kind of gross. And then there was an afterword by the author that I was like, you're kind of gross. So, like, that's one that I'm just like, I'm not finishing that series, and that got rated 2 stars. I was just like, nope, goodbye. It'll be stuff like that, like, just stuff that I'm like, oh, that's a squick. No, we're gonna, that is more than problematic. That is a problem. So 1-star books. I'm about to spill some tea on some books. So if you don't want to see me spill the tea on the books, I might get a little ranty, because I tend to get a little ranty when I talk about both of them, actually. But the 1-star books, these are the books that have betrayed me, okay? These are the books that I want to take my feelings out on. These are the books that I read them and I go, I am a never, ever, never again. No, nap, goodbye, we are done. I mentioned earlier that I had to read Thomas Hardy for school. I hate Thomas Hardy. I hate him. Like, ugh! And this isn't even the one I was going to talk about, but I grabbed this. This is Tess of D'Urberville's. Basically, Thomas Hardy is a mean meanie-head who needed, I don't know. I don't know what Thomas Hardy needed, because, like, his books are just so sadistic. He weaves this story, and, like, you knew. I've read 2 of them. I've read this, and I've read Jude the Obscure. And, like, I knew after I'd read this that I was like, oh yeah, he's just gonna write sad books. I knew Jude the Obscure was gonna end badly. But, like, he makes you think everything could be okay. He shows you how everything could be okay. I also don't like how he punishes women for men's failings. But he makes you feel like everything could be okay, and he's like, oh look, this could be the happy life they could have, and then he takes it all away. I don't rate books 1 star very often. Like, I rated one in January. I rated We Were Liars 1 star. And honestly, like, that was the most controversial 1 star I've ever rated, because technically, from a writing standpoint, that was a 5-star book. Like, she betrayed me, but she did it in such a clever way that I could not even be mad about it. I couldn't even be mad. I literally was sitting there, like, when she revealed that final twist where you go, holy crap, that's what's been going on. And you sit there and you go, oh no, but we haven't. Like, technically, I could have rated We Were Liars 2 stars, but I was very emotional when I rated it, and I was just like, no, I can't. Every time I tried to give it more than 1 star, I broke out in hives. But let's talk about the ultimate betrayal. Like, that is the first 1-star book I've had in 4 years. Like I said, I don't rate things 1 star very often. If I don't like them, usually they're 2 stars. But sometimes an author just does you wrong. There are a whole bunch of you that are laughing right now because this was when I said the author betrayed you, this is what came to mind. It's been 4 years. Has it been 4 years? Let's look at the publication. Okay, so this was published in, nope, still no. Come on, where's it? This was published in 2013. I feel like this was 2014. This was published 4 or 5 years ago, and I'm still bitter about it. Like, that's what differentiates my 2-star books from my 1-star books. Like, I'm not bitter about Soldier. I'm just like, whatever. Ugh. whatever. I am bitter about this book. I finished this book, and if I could have, I would have burned it like I did with Wuthering Heights. I liked Wuthering Heights more than I liked this book. I'm sorry if Wuthering Heights is like your favorite book. If you liked it, I did not. I thought it was just sad and painful, except for like the last 2 chapters. I did like the last 2 chapters. Those were good chapters. Those were good chapters. But I was just so distraught when I finished that book. I don't know if I can find the picture, but I sent my best friend a picture that was like the book, a box of matches, and a question mark. When am I coming over to your house so we can do this? I would have burnt this if I had not just bought it, if it had not been just brand new, and I was like, I can sell this online and get some money back for it. If I had a time machine, there is a part of me that would literally just go back in time to tell myself not to read this book. It didn't make any sense what she did. I read her explanation for it, but it didn't make any sense. It's one thing if a character dies in pursuit of a goal, but when you have gotten them through so many things, if they have literally gone through all of the trials and tribulations that they can go through and made it out alive, I expect them to get their freaking happily ever after, like, and not just like, poof, get killed. I expect them to get a happy ending, or at least a minorly okay ending, and not get killed by something as simple as just getting shot. I'm still mad. It's been 4 years. This book sent me into a months-long reading slump. Like, I was just like, I can never trust another author again. Reading has no joy. I will never, ever, 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 ever read another Veronica Roth book ever again unless I know that it ends good. Happily. It ends happily. There is a little bit of an insight into my mind when I am rating my books. It is a lot less based on technical stuff and a lot more based on, again, my emotions and my attachment and my engagement and how much I enjoyed a book. Although, at the same time, I really enjoyed like 95% of this book until I can't even look in there, but like somewhere around this area, this like right here, somewhere around here. Listen, this is me warning you now. Just don't read the Divergent trilogy. It's not worth your time. I hope that kind of gave you a deeper understanding of what my ratings mean. You might see some books that you're like, that was a trash book being rated 5 stars, and it's because it got to me in an emotional way. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it thoroughly. Like, I don't read to analyze. I read for enjoyment and for pleasure. That is it for now, folks. If you like this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. Also, please do subscribe if you want more bookish videos from me. I am not usually so negative. This is like the most negative you will ever see me, and that's because I just spent I don't know how long ranting about Allegiant. I could continue ranting about Allegiant, but I don't want to get into too many spoilers because some of y'all are masochists and you like causing yourself pain as you read, and you'd be perfectly fine with the way Allegiant ended because you would be. And you have more strength and emotional fortitude than I will ever have in my life. Alright guys, I will see you later when we will talk about more wordy, nerdy things. Bye!